we shall be looking at something really, really salient, talking about becoming self reliant and how it is a valuable goal that will help you to develop independence and confidence in your abilities. And to do justice to this, like I hinted earlier, I have really, really tall gentlemen. I don't know what the generation for societal change has against me, but every time Mr. Kamal will bring people that are like giants. I don't know. If you want to know what these guys look like, they're actually fine. Oh, they are fine men. They are tall and fine. Caramel and topping. How do they put it? Anyway, let's not get carried away. I have here with me the by my left. If you're looking at us at the moment, we are live. If you're looking at us by my left, I have Mr. Israel Ebubechuku Onyebuchi. He is a renewable energy expert and forex trader. And I also have by my far right Mr. Brown Ejike. He is a software engineer and entrepreneur. Big names. You people should build them all. And then we have our very own, I would not say it's a guest. It's not even a guest. It's like a constant on this show, talking about Mr. Kamal Sultan. He is an activist, an advocate for change, and I would say that a top representative of the generation for societal change. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us in the studio today.
Always a pleasure, Cassie.
It's only Kamal that is saying something. I don't know if the other people are not happy to be here.
Thank you.
This is your experience that you can count on. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. All right. So I'm hoping that the conversation is going to be as engaging as always. So let's just keep it straight to the point. Now, let's talk about self-reliance. I know that we've discussed this before, but you know what they say, new year, new me, and all of that. Yes, obviously, there is a need for us to go back to track and see what we can do or even do better as regards self-reliance. So if you could just run that through by us, what exactly is self-reliance?
All right. Thank you very much, Cassie. Self-reliance is actually, and good morning, Nigerians. I usually
good
say
afternoon.
this before anything. Good afternoon, Nigerians, right? I'm really happy to be here. And as always, it's a pleasure to have Cassie just by my side.
Thank you.
Yeah, so self-reliance is actually you depending on your own innate potential, right? So you could make ends that meet for yourself.
Oh, okay.
I don't intend to go in the ways of Oxford or Harvard's dictionary today. I want to just go straight to the point. Looking inwards, searching deep within yourself and finding your innate potentials, right? Your innate gifts, and trying to ensure that you make something out of it. That's basically self-reliance. And given that that is the definition, what we are trying to do basically, or what we are trying to accomplish with today's conversation is, we know it's the new year. It's not far out. We are just 2 weeks in. And the first year, I'm sure, first week, a lot of people had a lot of reflections and basically had goal sets and all of that. For a lot of people, they want to get extra stream of income, rightfully so, because with the current dispensation of things, we see that jobs are hard to come by, especially the ones from the government and all of that. And you don't want to just sit and wait until jobs become available. When they even become available, we have hundreds and thousands of Nigerians, if not millions, waiting for these opportunities to come. And it won't even still meet everyone at the end of the day.
That's true.
However, we have something just deep within us, innate potentials. It could be a craft that we inherited from our forefathers. It could be something that we haven't even harnessed at all. We don't even know we have them, and then requires a deep reflection, basically for you to find out the things that you could do all by yourself and can fetch you money. So we are saying that, okay, since this is a possibility, how about we teach Nigerians how to basically get to this point where they are self-reliant.
Well, they're independent.
They are independent in their own ability.
Okay.
That way, they would help themselves financially and also help the economy as it is.
Yeah. All right. So it's not just about being self-reliant, self-reliant, but also helping the nation. Because when you're productive to yourself, you end
Yeah,
up being productive to
indeed.
country as well. All right. Now coming back to the other gentleman in the studio. Now looking at the conversation today, what do you think is standing in the way for many people attaining that, that level of self-reliance, or should I say self-fulfillment, as the case may be? Yeah, please.
All right. First of all, I think that we probably have cultivated a culture of um, over dependence and
Okay.
should I say handouts in a sense, where everybody's looking for what the government is going to give. Everybody's looking for what my father is going to give and all of that. But
Okay.
it's not necessarily the case in the real world. So we have situations where people don't seem to think or believe that their destinies are in their own hands, and that they need to do something about it if they really need to get out of that situation, regardless of what situation it is, financial, emotional, whatever. So one of the things that, for example, self-reliance does for you is becoming resilient in terms of uncertainty, right? This climate that we are in currently within our country is a climate, I would say, is a climate of uncertainty. A lot of people are not built for that because they've not built their level of self-reliance, and it's something that we should. Of course, it's good that we're having this conversation, but like I said, the most important thing is understanding that nobody really owes you anything, right? And you are the architect of your own success. That idea of waiting until something is handed over to you, or something is given to you, or the mob mentality of, or the government has to give us this, or the government has to provide this for us, is where. All right. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that's one of the challenges, and I think the fact that we don't have the second thing I would say is probably one of the reasons why there's not much of self-reliance is we don't have this much conversations.
Okay.
Quite frankly, what you don't know, you don't know. It's very simple. So I think more of this kind of conversation should be had. We should actually talk about the benefits. We should talk about, how we can develop self-reliance and what benefits self-reliance can do to us. That would be my take on it.
Okay. Now you talked about the fact that you feel our over dependence on handouts
Yeah.
is one of the major contributing factors to why a lot of people are yet to attain that level of self-reliance.
Yeah.
But other people would say that Nigerians are really, really resilient people. We are really hardworking. In fact, there is no part of this world you would go to today that you would not meet a Nigerian that is doing something.
Yeah.
Yes, and even here in the country, you would see that so many Nigerians are thriving regardless of the climate and everything. So I would just say that what are other factors that might be responsible apart from just some Nigerians over depending on handouts? Mr. Brown, if you could just expatiate on that so that we can understand.
Yeah, talking about factors that can influence. Sorry, come again. Let me.
Okay, I was just asking that what are some of those factors, just like he said, that over dependence on handouts, people waiting for someone to come help them or give it to them, like they just sit and wait. What other factors are responsible for people, preventing people, especially Nigerians, from not attaining that level of self-reliance?
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, thank you very much. And I think I think I'll break it into two parts.
Okay.
No self confidence and lack of self awareness.
Okay.
Yeah, so when you're not confident, yeah, you don't realize the power you carry or the extent you can go or what you can do. Then when you're not self aware, you tend to hide in your shell.
Okay.
Yeah, you tend to lock up and be inside. So you're afraid to soar, you're afraid to do stuff, you're afraid to take a leap of faith. That's how I see it. So aside the handout, aside external support, it has to come from within.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing has to come from within. It's like a plant. You have to germinate first before somebody will externally water you and take care of you, right? Yeah. But you have to fight from the root to come out of the ground.
You need to have a
and all of
conviction
Yeah.
that you can
so
do it.
that confidence and self-awareness is what I think is the limiting factor as to why people are not self-reliant. And then again, it also boils down to skills.
Okay.
If you're very skilled in a particular field or what you do, that builds confidence, and then you're very self-aware.
Okay.
So lack of skills translates to no confidence and no self-awareness. That's where you see you're not self-reliant.
Okay, now when we talk about skills, right, I know that there are some skills that you have them in you, they are in it, but there are other skills that you would need to like foster them. You need to go pay, learn, and everything. Some people cannot afford to pay, learn some of the skills or acquire the skills. What can they do? That could also be a limiting factor because the finances, I mean, the financial toll that it takes on them, maybe what might be limiting them from trying to reach that full potential of saying, okay, I want to be independent as a person.
Yeah. Okay. We always talk about skills, and then when we talk about the skills, we always focus on just the financial aspect of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are skills you can learn without finances.
Tell me about
I have a
it.
coding academy. Like,
Please tell me.
So I meet people every day. I meet students. I meet youth and everybody. I think I had an argument with a particular graduate one time.
Okay.
So she was like, "Why is everybody saying we should go and learn tech skills? Tech skills. What if I don't want to do tech?" Now here's the problem. We're not saying you should learn tech skills.
Okay.
Yeah, or go outside what you studied. But then realistically, what you studied, for instance, you study horticulture in Nigeria, it all still boils down to our climate, like Israel mentioned. You study horticulture. Now, where can you actually apply this in Nigeria if you want to tell yourself the truth? So your environment, to a large extent, determines your success. That's very paramount. So it's not like you're disadvantaged, but to a large extent, we don't have some enabling structures. So you have to fight for yourself to a large extent. So when we're telling you to learn skills and all of that, there are skills. For instance, YouTube is the biggest university.
Actually, that's true.
One. Now, but the problem is patience. A lot of people don't want to sit and learn. I teach. People will come to meet me and then they will tell me, I will give people links, for instance, young people. I'll give them links, go take this course, go take this free course and everything, and come back to me when you need the advanced part of it. But they will still go and come back. It's hard. I'll take the same course and teach them. They will learn. I'm like, that's the problem. How I teach is different. How I break down is different. I understand. But the problem is you. It's not necessarily how I teach. It's because you're not patient enough to sit down and learn.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of free resources out there,
Available.
free materials out there, but you're not patient enough to sit and learn. That's the problem.
Patience.
Yes.
So I don't know if I
Lack
could
of
touch.
patience. Okay,
if
please
I could
go
touch
ahead.
a
Yes,
little
please.
bit, with respect to self-reliance, to be fair, the idea is not really independent. Independence is like a side effect of self-reliance. Being self-reliant doesn't mean there is no interdependency at some point,
It
because
all leads
positive.
to it. It's just a part
It's
of
just
that.
a part of it. At the end of the day, gaining financial independence, gaining independence of your thoughts and your mind, is part of what happens to you when you become self-reliant.
Okay.
But with respect to the idea of self-reliance, is to really understand that majority of what happens to and for you is a function of you, right? And so you must need to cultivate the ability and the strength, the tenacity to push through, regardless of what happens within the scope of. And it leads to personal growth, right? It leads to a lot of personal growth, a lot of growth, generally speaking. And then, like I said, it doesn't mean no dependence, because when you talk about self-reliance, it encourages positive collaboration too.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So positive collaboration is part of what happens, so that while you're collaborating, you also know that certain things you have to bring to the table, right? There's exchange of values here and there, right? But when you talk about some of the things that are limiting this idea of self-reliance, the initial point I brought up was what do you call it? Let's say over-dependence, right?
Waiting for handouts and all of that.
Waiting for handouts, trying to feel entitled to a certain
entitlement.
resource just because you're born. Honestly speaking, when it comes to what Brown talked about, lack of skills, lack of education, a lot of people are not willing to go that extra mile
Okay.
to say, you know what, what is it that I can do, even in horticulture, right? What exactly can I do different, right? People just go to classes, they go to classes, they just learn whatever is being taught. Nobody goes the extra mile to study, to find out how can I make this a business? How can I, what service can I offer from horticulture itself? What are the various other angles that I can look at it? But everybody's waiting for the day somebody's going to sign their t-shirt, and that's it for me. Okay, we're doing what? We're doing national service. Can you find the Said, what do you call it, skill acquisitions, right? That are in line with what you've done, so that after school you're not necessarily waiting to maybe get a job or whatever. You're already doing something.
Yeah.
Someone can meet you in that space and then help you out and work. This Mr. Kamal has a lot of some of those skill acquisition, what do you call it, bodies that can help people gain skills. But how many people are looking at it? When I served, I'll be very honest with you, I didn't it wasn't interesting to me to, let's say, go and learn this, go and learn that. Some of the things they were teaching, barbing, very important skill. I was already a barber. I had already learned how to barb. It's part of, I studied with Brown. He knows it's part of what kept us in school, right? So I'm studying electrical engineering, but I'm also barbing in the weekends, right? Some of these things, so it's a lived experience, but you have to know that nobody really owes you anything at the end of the day. And then some cultures also encourage interdependence. Some people want to be in their parents' house till they're 30, till they're 40, right? If you're in an economy where by 16 you have to leave the house, nobody is going to tell you to become self-reliant at 14, 15. I don't know if that makes sense. So many other things, but I just
even at 20, 25, some of us, we are still not.
Yeah,
we are yet to come to that reality that we have to leave our papa's house. So.
Exactly.
But anyway, thank you so much. I think one thing you said is the fact that everything that happens to you is what you decide to be or what you decide to do for yourself.
Yeah.
And self-reliance doesn't entirely mean that you are not going to need help, but at least to a large extent, you are able to make certain decisions, and that will have to do with finances, talking about your thought. If you have to do something, you wouldn't wait for someone to come help you out. At least you start before help
that
would
will
come.
attract help.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. And now moving on to...
Sorry.
All right, before that very rude interruption, I sincerely apologize for that. So I was just going to ask Mr. Kamal to just help us tell us some of the steps, now that we've been able to establish the factors standing against our desire to be self-reliant, especially as a nation, or should I say, let's start from our very small unit ourselves, to be self-reliant. What can we do? What are those very practical steps that we need to take for us to cultivate that spirit of, being self-reliant?
All right, thank you very much, Cassandra. I think one out of the few or out of many would be start by taking small steps.
Okay.
Small steps are out of your comfort zone, basically. A lot of people just want to have all of it figured out before they start making a move. They want to have all of what they need, actually, or what they have envisioned that would help them in the journey before they start the journey. Now, that will waste a lot of your time. You might never have it all together. One thing you have to do is take one step at a time, just so that you can build your confidence. And the moment you build your confidence with that level of consistency, then you can take on to the bigger challenges that you would encounter. And then once you're able to do that, somehow your confidence is built, and you know that, okay, you could even go for the bigger fishes now. Basically go for something that will fetch you a lot more. So that's one thing. Then the second would be to manage your finances. If you don't, there's a saying that if you can't manage poverty, you can't manage wealth.
Really?
If you can't manage lack, you can't manage abundance. Right? A lot of youths actually do not prioritize their finances.
Okay.
You hear someone who is complaining about not having 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira using an iPhone 15, right? And you that he's
You are
coming
shaking
to meet.
tables.
But that's what it is.
You are shaking tables.
Okay, I'm sorry, but let's break the table and build a new one. I think that's what we are trying to do.
Okay.
That's recycling. Now.
Yes, recycling. Yeah. So without, if you don't have 1,000 naira, you don't have any business with an iPhone 15. How did you save up? Because all of these people that are saying it's hard to build a skill, it's hard, there's no finances and all of that. Go and see, go on a Friday night, go to bars and
Where they are
restaurants
doing dorime.
where they are doing dorime. You see who is doing the dorime.
Priorities.
He just does not prioritize his own self, basically building
Okay.
that skill, right, to be more self-reliant. There's the person who is telling you, I cannot register for this course because it's too expensive. Guess how much is too expensive? Maybe 20,000 or 10,000 naira. Buys data worth 40,000 naira per
Ha.
month, right? Or basically he prefers to sew or buy the latest sneakers, and he would complain all that, you know. But if you're able to manage your finances to know that, okay, instead of an iPhone 15, what do I need? For God's sake, look at my phone.
Ha.
Cassandra, anybody that is watching should look
Let's
at it.
let's show our phones.
Yes, but
Oh, no wonder you are shaking tables.
no. So I'll shake those.
Cassandra
tables.
has two, by the way.
No. It's the other one, a studio phone.
Okay.
Studio phone.
But what am I saying in essence, right? Can I buy an iPhone 15? Yes, I can buy an iPhone 15.
Okay.
Do I need an iPhone 15? No, I do not need an iPhone 15. Why? Because if I buy an iPhone 15, right, maybe my other plans will suffer,
Yeah.
right? And
So
I have a lot of other
priorities for
things.
you.
Yes, they are priorities.
Needs against one.
Exactly, needs against wants. And my dad used to say something. He says that if you can't buy something twice, then you cannot afford it.
I
Germs.
have a different opinion though, but
Yes, but that's fine. If you cannot buy something
We'll
twice,
buy it twice in the future.
yes, you
But
cannot
please,
afford
let's
it.
You
just
cannot
buy
buy
it
it
now.
10 times.
If you cannot buy
afford
it
it.
10 times, right? So it can even be more, right? But this is like a guide, right?
Of
For a
course,
lot of
yeah.
people, they would use all their life savings to
to
go and
buy
buy a
something.
phone. And now, when you buy a phone, some other things suffer.
And it's not like you're using the phone to make money.
No, you're not
Exactly.
using the money.
That's the
Exactly,
point.
that's
except
my
that.
argument against that.
Which is
So
fine.
it's asset against liability.
But even when you use your entire savings, right, to buy an iPhone 15 and it makes you money, have you envisioned in eventuality? How about if the phone falls
breaks.
down and break and the screen? I know of somebody who bought an iPhone.
But
with
your
her
phone
money.
screen is even more expensive. Is this not? I
Eh,
don't want to call brand names,
Cassie.
but I want to drag
Cassie,
it
I
in.
can afford this phone. Thank you.
Hey, guys.
But the screen
The screen,
is,
I can afford the screen. That was why I went to buy it.
Okay,
But I've not changed this.
but it doesn't change the fact that the screen is expensive.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I cut you short?
Yes,
You know,
please.
I used to be a school. I used to be subscribed to the school of thought that if
Okay.
you can buy it twice.
Okay.
Yes, the mic.
Sorry. So I used to subscribe to this school of thought that if you can buy it twice, you can afford it. But after a lot of life experiences and a lot of things, I figured out that it's not totally right. Let's say, for instance, okay, no, I have a friend. She was applying for a job, social media management and content creation. Now, one of the requirements for that job was to have an iPhone. You
Yeah.
need to have your own iPhone
Yeah.
to get for recording and content creation and all of that. So now, in that scenario, if she didn't have an iPhone, that job was going to pass her by.
But there's
And
always
so-
a caveat to it.
There are always
no,
an
no,
There's
wait,
always
no,
a caveat
no,
to
wait,
it.
So
no,
like
no,
there was a
assuming-
strict insistence on
Yes,
the
yes,
iPhone.
you should have an
Oh.
iPhone, for content creation, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the company is going to fly you around the world and have everything. What you
They
have
should
to
buy her
use-
the iPhone.
No, I think that's also in the plan or in the works.
It's good, but it's
you
late, the
should
later,
have your
in the later
own.
portion,
Oh.
yes.
That shows us competence.
Yeah.
Yes, you've been working with this. You can work with this.
Yes,
before we
because most
give
of the
you
editing too is
something.
on that.
on
Remember
on
what we were
phone.
talking about?
So
We talked about
it's
it
a tool.
being valuable
It's a
for you.
tool at that
Yes.
point.
Okay.
So even if I don't have an iPhone and I get to borrow money or take a loan to buy an iPhone, so it's not totally out of place.
Yes.
If,
So
that's, if that's the case,
because
yes, I cannot afford it at the point, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, it's an investment.
it's
We
an
should-
investment.
You get
Gentlemen, we should understand that that's actually not the people
Focus.
were with the focus now.
Yes.
The focus now that
And
for the
those
people
that are not even using it
who are
for
not
jobs.
using it for anything,
They
right?
just buy it for
Yeah,
buying.
so
Everyone
that's
is
what
buying.
it is. It's an exception.
Yeah.
It's an exception when this
not
is
the
the
norm.
case. But I mean, we know a lot of people who complain about not being able to
True.
register for these things do not have their mindset on developing themselves.
Yeah.
So basically, why are you using an iPhone 15 when you can't invest 20,000 naira on yourself or 15,000 naira on yourself? It doesn't make any sense, and they just make excuses because online there are lots of free courses. I beg to differ in trying to make excuses for young individuals who come and then they have an empty profile and say they basically have no experience because they couldn't afford courses.
Yes.
Gone are those days. There are courses that are totally free. They'll even fly you out of the country. They will basically provide everything from start to finish for
Okay.
you. Basically, once you just go online to search for them, once you just try as much as possible to invest in yourself. So these excuses, I think, gone are those days where
That would give those
you
excuses.
give those excuses. So
Time has made those excuses
time
to
have
fade.
passed, so you have to actually manage your finances. Then the third one is basically taking responsibility for your choices.
Okay.
Yeah, so once you make a decision, and this is basically a link to the point we have just made, you can't basically keep on pointing fingers at everybody as to why you haven't gotten to where you want
where
to
you
be
are.
because of him, her, and everybody. You have to realize that you're a bulb of the decisions you make, the choices you make,
Yeah.
right? And whatever the consequences that follows, you have to basically embrace those consequences because it's totally you. But the moment you're overly interdependent on everybody, my uncle, he has plenty money, but
Someone
he
even
didn't send me,
someone
or
even
he didn't
said
buy
that
me.
it's been 2 years since my uncle asked me to send my CV, and
Yeah.
so you were sitting and waiting for your uncle to
For
collect
2
your CV.
years.
For
I've
2
been
years.
cities too. I think I'm that uncle.
Yeah, so you can
Oh, so you will say, send me your CV. Let me see what I will do.
You
I
will
have nothing to
you, you will sing it there.
Ha.
get
You will sing it there. You
So-
come and auntie.
So maybe my last point for this, would be develop a skill. The develop a skill now does not necessarily mean you should go and learn coding and everything
so
that
many other
maybe
things to
everybody
do.
has
So
said,
many.
right? There are a lot of things that you have to learn.
Yeah.
So it's not enough for you to learn shoemaking without you learning
The business of
the
shoemaking.
business of shoemaking. And the business of shoemaking also entails that you learn how to market your shoe. Basically, also learn how to
Market
learn
it with excellence. etc.
basically everything that is surrounded with shoemaking A to Z. So if you make a shoe here, basically you can't wink in the dark and expect to be seen, right? You have to learn how to advertise your product.
That's true.
So that's something you have to learn too. Maybe how to advertise products, learn about target audiences for the kind of shoes that you make.
they would need, yeah.
The target market, basically. You have to learn all of that. You also have to learn budgeting. You have to learn how to budget your finances. How much are you taking to the market? How much will you have just as your savings in case you need to do X, Y, and Z and all of that? So these are basic skills that you have to learn that will help you basically foster whatever
Self-reliance,
business
yeah.
you are venturing into. So it's not enough to harness your innate potential because that's what almost everybody will tell you. Learn a skill, and learning a skill is just maybe the craft of it. How about learning other things that will supplement the craft and make you basically successful in the field that you have chosen?
I must say that you guys have been serving gems right here on the National Core Values. We've been talking about self-reliance over time, but I think that this one is really, really practical. You know, I think anyone listening would be able to relate to everything we're saying here because we've been able to break it down in very small bits that even the layman would understand that yes, you don't need all of the money in the world to start something. You just have to start little. when you were talking about the iPhone and everything, and he said that some people have these phones because they want to do business with it. If you look now, I'm not saying that the traditional photographers are no longer in demand, but there is something that is happening now. Almost everyone is a content creator. Almost everyone is making reels. Like, and I'm really impressed by that. And I was talking to my brother, I was saying, you are using a 13 Pro Max and you don't want to create reels, go to weddings, crash weddings, go there and see, just make random things, just try to, honestly, I spoke to him and then he saw reasons, and from that moment he started it, because there is no reason you have that phone and you are not making use of it. There should be a reason why you have that phone. And I'm just pointing out the fact that if you are at an event today, you will discover that the vendor that is providing services at that event has a content creator. That content creator has another content creator that is doing behind the scenes. That same content creator will have another one that is doing, like, everybody is doing something. And seriously, in this part of the world, it's really, really in high demand. And we are just trying to move the market. And this is just one aspect of you trying to look for that self-sufficiency. Another part where you see basically everyone is selling everything. People are selling. They are not even ashamed. You see the market. Some people even carry bell on social media, because at least that is where you get to connect with so many people, and you get to buy from people without even knowing them or seeing them. So I'm just trying to, connect it with everything that we've said so far here on the show. The fact that you should not wait to be handed something. I think we even had a conversation. I was just thinking about something in my mind yesterday and through this morning, that truly nobody will come and help you. There's nobody coming to help you. Honestly, there is nobody coming to help you. People want to see you doing it first before they will not reach out to you. Until you blow, nobody will send you, honestly. And that is why you see that even the rich keep getting richer, because I think someone was like, he reached out. I saw a post where it's kind of related, but maybe unrelated, but I'm just trying to say how people continue to, connect in certain circles just to be self-reliant. So this businessman reached out to Obi Kubana, alleged, at least according to the post he made, it was a verified DM. He said, "Sir, I want to celebrate Tunde Ednot in my own community, because I think Tunde Ednot's birthday is coming up. So he said, I want to donate my own cows." Another person would say, why is this man doing that? Have you fed the people in your village and finished that you want to celebrate Tunde Ednot? But he's looking at it from a businessman's perspective. This guy is into logistics. If he does that, he will get himself in those cycles.
That's free marketing.
Yes, he's trying to. Tunde would likely repost him, but ordinarily, even if maybe sometimes, even if he pays, Tunde may not post him like that. But by doing that, Tunde is likely to post him, and before you know, Tunde has that influence. You cannot deny that. So it's possible that his friends will see it, and then his logistics company will get more patronage and everything. So I'm just trying to say that apart from just trying to find the skill, you have to be ahead.
Indeed.
To understand that nobody is coming to help you just like that until you make a move.
Indeed.
Yeah,
So-
which also I hope I can.
Yes,
I can
please.
chip in at
Yes,
this point.
please. Yes, please.
Which also is part of what I talked about, that.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. This
You
final
include
thoughts.
that.
All right. Sure. So part of what I talked about with respect to having a support network, the fact that you're self-reliant doesn't mean you're alienating yourself, right?
From help.
Yeah, from help, exactly. So part of having building self-reliance, building a support network, right? Your network will always be your network. It's very simple. We've had this through those who have gone ahead of us in business, those who have gone ahead of us in entrepreneurship, in every sphere of life. Your network would always be a very important part of you. So while you're developing value, be sure to provide your value, right? And package it also with excellence, right? And be intentional about your networking. Be intentional about your commitment to other people, while still being, independent in your own mind, so that again you're not promoting full-on dependence. You just know that at the end of the day, this network I'm building is strategic, and this is from where you get to scale at the end of the day. If Tunde, for example, needs a service around what that guy does, in recent times, one of the first people is going to think about
It's
is that
obeying.
person,
Yes,
right? So,
that's true.
you know, building a strong network, creating multiple streams of income, having an independent thought and mindset, right? Being independent in your thought, being grounded in yourself, right? Understanding that at the end of the day, everything that, like I said, happens to you and for you is depending on you. So that would be my final thought on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Israel. You have said so much, and one thing I picked from what you have said is the fact that it only has to be you. You have to take that step for you to change you, and no other person is coming to do it except you take that bold step. And it's not just about you trying to be totally independent. You have to start from at least projecting yourself, and then help is going to come. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There is nothing wrong in asking for help. So please, let's have your final thoughts, gentlemen.
Okay, final thoughts, right? So before self-reliance, there's self-development. That's the first step before we get to self-reliance. And what I always tell people when it comes to self-development is, it's not just about self-development or learning a new skill or a new stuff or new something. When you're done with that, there are 3 things you can do with whatever it is you've learned. So you're not boxed. You don't get to that point where you'll be like, I know stuff, but I can't use it. You get there. No matter what environment or where you find yourself or what climb, in our climb, there are ways you can apply these skills or stuff you've learned. One of them is to work with them.
Okay.
Typical 9 to 5. Make yourself so valuable in your office that even if there's a retrenchment coming or sack coming, you're not part of the people they will sack. Make yourself that important, that valuable in your office. If you're a 9 to 5er, that's one. Then 2, entrepreneurship. Solve a problem. You have a skill. How do I apply this in the real world? Look for a problem and solve the problem with the skill you have. That is it. That's step 2. Then number 3, teach the skill.
Teach.
Yes.
Pass on your
You
knowledge.
should be able to pass it on
To somebody else.
I think this one is a conversation for another day, because there are people that know but don't want to teach. They're not open to teaching, except maybe I'm not saying you shouldn't monetize your knowledge or what you know, but at least you should be able to raise a generation. Let's hear from you, Mr. Kamal.
My final thought is unconventional.
Please go
right?
ahead.
And it's for only
Don't
people
buy
that
iPhone
understand
15.
sarcasm. Yes, it's for only people that, if you like, don't be self-reliant. No hustle, right? Hunger, struggle is a wake-up call. A word is enough for the wise.
Okay, so in a nutshell, you are saying that hunger should be your biggest source of motivation.
If you don't tell yourself the truth,
there is nobody that will tell you the truth.
Nobody.
Okay, so that is what it is. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for doing justice to yet another episode of the National Core Values right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. It's been so amazing having this conversation with you today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
I hope to see you guys again and again.
Don't worry, next time we'll come with someone that
Please
your
bring
height
someone
range.
within my height range, because I don't understand this whole.
Well, I
You
wouldn't
guys
advise
are.
that though. I would advise that too.
Why? Let me have company at least.
You're blessed among men.
Uh-huh.
Blessed among tall men.
You're trying to patronize me now. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, dear listener, there you have it. It is what it is. Just like the gentlemen have said, self-reliance is very important. And one thing is that it is not, it's not something you take all at once. It's not a process you would rush. It is a journey. It is not a destination. And it's okay for you to ask for help, but also be willing to take ownership of your life. Make decisions and learn from your lessons. I am Cassandra Yunube. Keep listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Remember, we are still on the sunny side of life.